stuck in a dream and I can't help what I'm feeling. I don't know if I'm breathing when you are with me. My heart is beating. I am stuck in a dream and I can't help what I'm feeling. I don't know if I'm breathing when you are with me. My heart is beating. I'm giving up. I'm giving up. Getting into you. I'm giving up. I'm giving up. Getting into you. I'm giving up. I'm giving up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Elevate Your Birth and Postpartum Support, a Birth Pro's Guide to Dancing for Birth, Professional Training, and Certification. I'm Stephanie Larson. I'm the founder of Dancing for Birth. I'm also a mom of 4 young adults, an experienced birth doula, a childbirth educator, and someone who really loves to dance. And I'm so happy to welcome you all today. We have birth professionals from 11 countries here today, and so much wealth of wisdom already in the room right now. All right, and as we get started, I'll just ask everyone to please mute your mic, and you'll have time later when we do Q&A to unmute and ask questions. This is going to be a 60-minute webinar, and I'm going to share my aha moment that led me to create Dancing for Birth, and I'll give you an intro to what Dancing for Birth is. We're going to go over recent scientific studies on dancing during labor, and I'll share how Dancing for Birth Pro training will benefit you as a birth professional. And we're going to dance together. I'm going to teach and we'll practice together 3 beneficial moves for labor. Then I'll help you choose your right training level and explain how to get certified. And then I'll open it up for Q&A. And before we close out the webinar today, I'm going to give everyone who's here live a gift. And so I know you're going to want to stay for that. So I'm wondering if you are frustrated, like I am, by the routine medicalization of birth, inductions without medical indication, the sky-high cesarean rates, deplorable maternal and infant mortality rates, obstetric violence, the frequency of traumatic birth, the prevalence of postpartum depression, interventions without medical indication, and the rarity of undisturbed physiological birth. What if there was a radically different model of birth? What if your pregnant clients didn't have to suffer hours of labor pain and strain? What if you could spare them from those dreaded words, failure to progress and cesarean, after they've given it everything they've got? What if their birth experiences could be blissful, powerful, and life-changing? And what if birth could make them feel more whole and more ready to care for their baby, instead of depleted or traumatized? Yes, birth can be like this. And what we're talking about today is a radically different childbirth method, Dancing for Birth. I'd like to share a little bit about how Dancing for Birth got started. So I was in a totally different field. I was a fashion designer living in New York City, living my best life. I was designing dresses by day, and at night I was going out dancing and listening to music. And when I was pregnant, I was lucky to be seen by midwives at a freestanding birth center in New York City. And it was the only freestanding birth center in New York City. I'm really happy that I was in their care, because they did not discourage me from dancing during my pregnancy. And so I was really dancing throughout my pregnancy. In fact, just a few hours before I went into labor, I was out dancing. And so when I got to the birth center and they showed me into my room, which really looked like a bedroom, they gave me my privacy and said, "Make yourself comfortable." And I took them literally. So I had not planned it out, but I went ahead and danced because that is what made me feel comfortable. So I was dancing around the room. I danced in the shower. I never got in the bed. And within 4 short hours, I had danced my baby out. And I felt this incredible euphoria and bliss and powerfulness. And it was an incredible feeling. I wish I could just snap my fingers and feel that again. So I was home with my baby within about 2 hours. We were out strolling in the neighborhood. And that's a great way to become a parent for the first time. Just feeling like your birth made you so powerful and so ready to be a parent. And so at that point, I couldn't stop thinking about birth and babies. And I asked other new parents things that they thought I was a little crazy, the questions I was asking them. Things like, isn't birth amazing? And what position were you in when you gave birth? And as people shared their stories with me, I did not hear a single other positive birth experience. And that really surprised me. People shared that birth was so painful for them, so traumatic for them, and that they were never going to have another baby because of it. And that touched me so deeply. And that's the point at which I realized I could help people. And so I left behind the career that I loved in fashion design, and I became a certified birth doula and a childbirth educator. And because birth had helped me so much, because dance had helped me so much in my birth, I created Dancing for Birth. And it was, humble beginnings, just me teaching one class a week out of my living room. And now it has been embraced all over the world. And that's why you're here. So thank you so much for being here. And my second birth story was not such a happy one. I thought that the best way to improve, and really the only way to improve upon my first birth, was to not go into a birthplace, just to stay home and have my baby. And unfortunately, I did not get my home birth because my home birth midwife was out of town. I went into labor about 3 weeks early. So she was out of town and I had relocated. The birth center that was my plan B had burned down, so it did not exist. So plan C was go to the hospital. So that's what I did. I went to the hospital where they discouraged me from getting out of the bed. I still got out of the bed, but I felt the disapproval, and that was a detriment to my experience. And then as I'm dancing and as my baby is literally about to be danced out, all of a sudden all chaos broke loose, and so many people rushed into the room and they lifted me up, threw me on the bed, held me down, spread eagle, wrists and ankles against my protests, and held me down there until I gave birth. And at that point, of course, birth was interrupted because I was no longer in that flow. And so then came the pain and the strain and the trauma of being treated like that. And so thankfully, I was physically healthy, my baby was healthy, but I had PTSD after that. And it's through this work with Dancing for Birth that is healed. But even though that was a terrible experience for me, I'm glad that I went through it because it helps me understand a little bit the kind of trauma that people experience so often in birth. And that's why I'm so passionate about Dancing for Birth and adding bliss and ease to birth. So for those of you who are new to Dancing for Birth, what is it? It has become a childbirth method, a professional training and certification, and a parent class. And that first birth story I told you happened 27 years ago. And so now my daughter Violet has made me a grandmother. And so it's just a full circle moment. Let's talk about the childbirth method. The Dancing for Birth childbirth method is based on our 3 principles: movement, gravity, and instinct. So we're literally helping people dance their babies down and out with bliss and ease. It's based on original techniques and unique discoveries, most of which I learned from attending hundreds of home births and seeing people give birth in their natural environment. So you will be learning new skills, and there's hardly any overlap with trainings you may have already taken in the past. The Dancing for Birth childbirth method is based in kinesthetic birthing, the natural flow of oxytocin and endorphins, accessing our birth instincts, disengaging the frontal cortex, and utilizing the feeling brain, and that body-baby birther connection. It's scientifically proven to lead to shorter births, fewer cesarean births, less labor pain, higher birth satisfaction, and higher APGAR scores. And the evidence shows it works. There's multiple recent studies, some of which we're going to go through together today, over a 25-year history of efficacy, thousands of testimonials, and it's practiced in over 50 countries worldwide. So let's dive into the science. This is a 2024 study, the effect of labor dance in the first stage of labor on labor pain, anxiety, duration of labor, and maternal satisfaction with labor. And they found that the practice of labor dance was effective in reducing the perceived labor pain. The practice of labor dance was found to be effective in increasing maternal satisfaction at birth. And this is a 2022 study, the effect of labor dance on traumatic childbirth perception and comfort. And the scores of the women in the dance group on the traumatic childbirth perception scale were significantly lower than those in the control group, while their scores on the childbirth comfort questionnaire and the postpartum comfort scale were significantly higher. Labor dance contributed to the women's more positive childbirth experiences, perceptions of childbirth as less traumatic, and increased their comfort levels. This is a 2020 study, the effect of labor dance on perceived labor pain, birth satisfaction, and neonatal outcomes. The study showed a positive effect of labor dancing on the labor process. The APGAR scores of the newborns were significantly higher, and mothers' birth satisfaction was significantly higher. This one is from 2025. The effects of dance on maternal childbirth, a systematic review, and meta-analysis. The rate of natural childbirth in the dance group was higher. Satisfaction with labor in the dance group was higher. And dancing during labor shortened the duration of the first stage of labor, the second stage of labor, and the total duration of labor. And this one is so exciting to me as well. It's from 2024, the effect of exercise for depression, a systematic review and network meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials. And you'll see on the chart here that dance had the best effect of any treatment for depression. It was more effective than SSRIs, which is a type of antidepressant medication. And dancing was more effective than exercise plus SSRIs. So also dance was more effective than any other form of exercise. And these are the stats coming straight out of Dancing for Birth class. 77% had an unmedicated birth, compared to only 29% US national average. 52% had a euphoric birth, and the cesarean rate was 56% lower than average. So numbers and stats are one thing, but hearing directly from participants is incredible. So notes like this. During my pregnancy and labor, I used the techniques I learned, and wow, what a difference they made. So this is Preach, and she said, "Thank God for dance. I had my baby in less than 30 minutes of contractions." And she had a big baby too. So why is dancing for birth so beneficial? It increases strength and agility. It improves pelvic mobility, creates space for baby, improves mood, decreases depression. It actually improves your brain health. It's energizing. It deepens the body connection, and it helps to facilitate physiological birth. Let's talk about Dancing for Birth Pro Training. With Dancing for Birth Pro Training plus certification, you'll become a specialist in the Dancing for Birth childbirth method and a certified Dancing for Birth instructor with 4 core competencies: prenatal fitness and birth preparation, postpartum fitness and birth recovery, childbirth education and new parent education, and celebration, ceremony, and support circle. Who should attend Dancing for Birth training? Doulas, childbirth educators, midwives, nurses, doctors, administrators, wellness professionals, anyone with a passion to support empowered pregnancy, birth, and parenting. And if you have the courage of a change maker and a heart for humanity, Dancing for Birth Pro Training is for you. Dancing for Birth is an approved provider of continuing education. You'll earn contact hours approved by Oregon Nurses Association, an accredited approver by the American Nurses Credentialing Centers Commission on Accreditation, and they are accepted by these and other organizations. There are 2 professional training levels. With level 1, you'll learn to use the Dancing for Birth childbirth method to support your laboring clients. And with level 1 plus level 2, you become eligible to apply for certification to teach Dancing for Birth class to pregnant and new parents. Here's your path to using the birth method and becoming a certified instructor. So step 1 is to attend the level 1 pro training or the combined level 1 through 2 pro training. And level 1 through 2 is often offered as a combined training back to back, so 2 consecutive days. You can get it accomplished in a weekend. Then you'll be ready to utilize the Dancing for Birth childbirth method. And if you would like to become certified, and if you're interested in teaching Dancing for Birth prenatal, postnatal class, you'll make sure that you've taken both level 1 and level 2, and then you'll complete the self-guided certification process. So how will Dancing for Birth training benefit you as a perinatal professional? You can expect your clients to have shorter births, less labor pain, fewer interventions, easier births, better outcomes, higher APGAR scores for the newborns, happier clients, and more referrals. So now I would like to invite you to dance with me, and we are going to practice 3 simple Dancing for Birth moves. Okay, so I invite you to get up and let's dance together. We're going to go over our dancer's posture. So we'll stand with our feet below our hips, and let's roll our shoulders around, drop them down away from our ears. So we're opening up that chest. Imagine a string at the top of your head pulling up to the sky. So you're growing longer and taller while you're also pressing your feet into the floor. So let's expand both ways. And shift your balance for a second to one foot. Feel the muscles engage to balance you. That is your core, so that is there for your strength and stability. So keep that engaged as we're dancing. And as we dance, make sure that everything feels good to you. And if it doesn't, modify or stop. And just make sure that you're also breathing. And here we go. So first thing we're going to do is feel our mobility in our hips. So feel that mobility, keep your legs straight, but don't lock your knees, just kind of keep the legs straight, feel that mobility. And now let's contrast and compare that with bending our knees. And now move your hips. Do you feel a difference? You should have more mobility now that you've bent your knees. And so that's the first tip for birth is, of course, be on our feet so gravity can help with the whole birth process, but bend your knees because that gives mobility to the hips. So we're going to sway our hips side to side. Imagine that your pelvis is a cradle and the baby's there. You're just gently rocking the baby in the cradle. And this move is called Rock the Baby. And so you get that hip sway by pressing your foot into the floor and straightening one leg at a time and just alternating. So press through the floor. You're probably feeling some muscles working right away. I know I do, especially right here in the quads. If that happens, if it starts to get fatiguing, you can always shake it out. Okay, and let's move on to the second move. We're going to open our legs wider. Point your toes slightly outward and keep your knees and toes pointing the same direction. That's protective for your knees. And let's do a deeper knee bend this time. Bring your arms up into victory pose while keeping your shoulders down. We don't want them to creep up here. And now let's activate that sway again. This is called Birth Goddess. So feel yourself opening up. We're reaching up. Yes, we're feeling joyful, receptive, powerful. And as we're moving our hips side to side, we're creating asymmetry. That helps the baby find all the usable space in the pelvis so that they can get into their optimal position throughout labor. Let's hold it here. Let's bring the back of our hands together and we'll do some hand circles and wrist circles. Think about sending your birth energy and the baby down and out when the time is right. And you can even reach down and receive your baby right into your own hands. You can help your clients receive their baby. Now let's add the hips with the hands. Good. So gravity is helping. We're releasing those happy hormones and oxytocin, which is the love and bonding hormone, and it also brings on contractions. So all of that positively reinforces the natural birth process. Okay, so that is Birth Goddess. And the third move that we're going to learn is called Innate Wisdom. So we're going to go up on the ball of the foot, bend both knees, and then press this leg into the foot into the floor to straighten the leg, to lift the hip. And then let's switch to the other side. Good. Good. Okay, so imagine that we're in a big, beautiful virtual circle all together, and we're going to start moving this circle toward the center. So bump the hip and step, bump the hip and step, bump and step, bump and step, bump and step. And we're coming to the center. And when we get to the center, let's all give each other a high 10. Good. Okay, and let's shimmy it back. So wiggle everything, shimmy everything. And let's bring it back and let's try it again. So we're gonna bump, step, bump, step, bump, step, bump, step, bump, step, bump, step. High 10, yes, looking good everybody, and I feel your energy. Thanks, let's shimmy it back. Good. Okay, let's do a recap, starting with rock the baby. Good. And when you're in labor, or you're with your client in labor, they may modify this to be leaning forward on something or someone. That is often an instinctive part of labor, to lean forward, and it helps with comfort. So dance itself is a comfort measure. Birth goddess. Here we go. Yes. Hope you feel those happy hormones flowing, oxytocin, endorphins, dopamine and serotonin. Okay, and innate wisdom. Good, and high 10. Good job, everybody. How are you feeling? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Are you suddenly smiling? Are you feeling good? Are you releasing your cares? I know that dancing always brings me right into the present moment, so I'm not thinking about yesterday or tomorrow. Yes, and so the moves may feel different at first if you've never done anything like that before, but have, patience with your body. You'll get it in you'll have body knowledge and muscle memory. And so then eventually you can do the moves without even thinking about it. It just flows right through you. And the main point being, follow your comfort and do what feels good. All right, I'm finally having a chance to go over to the chat. And I see people saying they feel energized, and that it felt sweet, more energy, awesome, connected and happy. Oh, smiley faces. And let's see, Nancy said, loved watching Ingrid. Amanda said, happy but glad nobody's watching. Margie said, love. And to your point of nobody watching, in Dancing for Birth class, we are dancing in a circle. And of course, we have our virtual circle here. And when we're in person, we're dancing in a circle. There's no mirrors, there's no audience, but we are here witnessing each other. And what we see is just that joy and radiance and beauty. And it just, we see that around us and it reflects back on us. And my motto is, I think we should all dance just like toddlers dance, totally unselfconsciously. They feel the rhythm, they hear the music, and they just go for it. They don't care who's watching. So yes, thank you everybody so much for dancing. And I will get back to the share. Here we go. Okay, so we have just experienced together 3 simple Dancing for Birth moves. These are suitable for any trimester of pregnancy and for any stage of labor and for postpartum as well. And I have a gift for you. It is a PDF of these moves, so you will have something to refer back to and be able to remember these moves. So go ahead and check for that in your email, and be sure to check your spam or promotions folders in case they end up there.
This is my dancing for birth baby. He was born after about 7 hours of labor into the waiting arms of his grandmother because my midwife didn't make it. I was so comfortable in my home environment, dancing, moving, swaying, that I did not realize he was going to arrive as quickly as he did. We were very blessed to have that experience with something that we'll never forget, something that we're very excited to tell people about.
I use my dancing for birth training at births all of the time. It was an awesome way to learn about the pelvis and optimal fetal positioning and how to prepare women for their births and also how to help them get through it using movement and dance.
Let's continue talking about dancing for birth professional training. The Level 1 Pro training is a 7-hour live training. There are no prerequisites. It offers 7 contact hours, and you'll learn the Dancing for Birth childbirth method and be able to use it right away to support your clients during labor. So it's a live interactive experience, learning these Dancing for Birth techniques and more, birth instincts to shorten labor and reduce C-sections, dancing for birth moves to facilitate birth and which should be avoided, powerful woman to open the pelvic outlet as much as double, the maneuver to avoid and resolve shoulder dystocia. At the conclusion of Level 1, you will have earned the designation Dancing for Birth Professionally Trained, and this never expires. You'll have received the corresponding professionally trained seal to display, learned Dancing for Birth philosophy, techniques, and birth method, gained permission to use the birth method to assist families during labor and birth, and earned a total of 7 contact hours. Here is Level 1 with real-world examples. Your client is 36 weeks pregnant and during a prenatal visit asks for help to flip their breech baby to a head-down position. You guide them through the Larson technique and baby turns head down by the time the technique is complete. And it's about a 30-minute or less technique. Another client is in labor and is told they need a cesarean due to failure to progress. You guide them into Dancing for Birth powerful woman position to open their pelvic outlet as much as double, and birth proceeds vaginally soon after to the surprise of the OB. Level 2 Pro training is a 7-hour, 1-day live training. The prerequisite is that you've taken Level 1 in the past 6 months, but you could also combine Level 2 with Level 1 as a combined 2-day training. With Level 2, you become eligible to apply for certification to teach Dancing for Birth class to pregnant and new parents. It's an interactive live training building on Level 1 skills, learning how to lead Dancing for Birth class, and continuing the path toward certification. You'll learn the Larson technique to correct malposition, including breech, also the womb relaxation exercise, health benefits and evidence for utilizing dance and movement, and signature Dancing for Birth moves to shorten labor and reduce C-sections. At the conclusion of Level 2 Pro training, you'll have earned the designation Dancing for Birth Professionally Trained, received the seal, learned Dancing for Birth philosophy, techniques, and birth method, gained permission to use the birth method to assist families during labor and birth, earned a total of 14 contact hours, and become eligible to apply for Dancing for Birth certification to teach Dancing for Birth parent class for preconception, prenatal, and postpartum. Here's Level 2 in real-world examples. Your client has recently given birth and during a postpartum visit expresses concern about back pain. You help them gauge their amount of diastasis recti separation and do the Dancing for Birth move, It Takes a Village, while explaining how it helps repair separation and what exercises they should avoid. Another client is having pelvic pain during late pregnancy. You guide them through the Dancing for Birth technique, maneuver. And with this move, the baby engages into their pelvis and the pain is resolved. She's dancing in labor, active labor right now with her OB. And this is the vision I'm holding for birth. That joy, that confidence, that comfort. It's a beautiful thing. Let's talk about Dancing for Birth certification. Certified Dancing for Birth instructors teach Dancing for Birth class. It's the trifecta of birth preparation: prenatal, postnatal fitness, childbirth education, and celebration, all in one. It's taught by certified instructors in North America, Europe, Australia, Asia, South America, and Africa. Dancing for Birth class is for the pregnant person, their birth partner, and their baby. So if you yourself are pregnant or postpartum, you can find a Dancing for Birth class on our global class locator. So classes are taught virtually and also in person. Every Dancing for Birth class includes prenatal and postnatal fitness, childbirth education, celebration, and support. So it's creating a complete childbirth preparation experience. One of the things that I love about Dancing for Birth class is we are combining pregnant and postpartum families. And there is so much incredible organic learning and sharing that happens when we're not separating pregnant and postpartum people, but bringing them together. Here's some benefits of getting certified. It signifies your advanced skill set, whether or not you plan to teach Dancing for Birth class. You expand your offerings with a specialization that sets you apart. The certified credential DFB to be displayed after your name. The certified instructor seal, authorization to lead Dancing for Birth class, a directory listing of your class on our global class locator, and access to our certified instructors portal, which contains hundreds of assets for you. Also, each month we produce a done-for-you social media calendar with graphics and swipe text and reels, so that you don't have to spend your valuable time creating those. Here's a glimpse inside our certified instructor portal. And we also have a Dancing for Birth shop. So we have merchandise for pregnant and new parents, as well as a dedicated collection for our certified Dancing for Birth instructors. Here are certification real-world examples. Your clients will want to become your Dancing for Birth class participants. So you can offer a combo package in which clients can book your Dancing for Birth class along with your other services, such as doula, midwifery, or other classes. Seeing your clients in a group setting every week allows you to help them to become truly birth ready, while you also build rapport together. And as a doula, I know I really value that time with my doula clients. And so by the time we get to labor, it's almost, we have an unspoken language. Your class participants will want to become your clients. So for example, a participant starts attending your Dancing for Birth class as a way to work on their prenatal fitness. But week by week, they learn about physiological birth, and they decide they want a birth team that includes a doula and a midwife. They hire you for birth support and are planning an active dancing birth. Educators, you hold a short Dancing for Birth capsule class inside of the other classes you normally teach. Your students are inspired to join your Dancing for Birth prenatal postpartum class series. Nurses, doctors, you utilize the Dancing for Birth childbirth method during labor, and as a result, you not only help families achieve their desired vaginal births, VBACs, or natural births, but you also help your hospital or birth center reduce cesareans and achieve other perinatal quality goals. So I'm sure you're wondering about the cost and the value. So the value of training and certifying with Dancing for Birth, comparable birth professional advanced training and certification programs cost $3,000 to $5,000 plus a recurring annual certification fee. But you can only learn the Dancing for Birth original techniques and discoveries inside Dancing for Birth Pro training. So the value is high, but the cost is very reasonable. So the cost of training and certifying with Dancing for Birth Level 1 is only $499 US. Level 2 is only $499 US, and Level 1 and 2 combined is only $699. So you're saving $299 when you take it as a combined Level 1 through 2 training. And the certification, which is optional, is a one-time fee of $345 US, and these fees don't reoccur annually or ever. And in the future, when it's time to get recertified, you don't have to repeat the training. You can register with confidence. I know you're probably on call to attend births, but you'll have a credit toward a future training date if you have to miss while you're at a birth. So let's talk about affordability and earning potential. We have automatic interest-free payment plans available at checkout as long as your training is at least 2 months away. Your registration is protected by our no-risk guarantee. The cost of training and certification is most likely a tax deduction for you as a birth professional, so do consult your tax advisor. You could potentially earn back your investment in training and certification with just one new client coming to you for your Dancing for Birth skill set. Certified instructors keep 100% of their profits. There's no profit share or royalties due to Dancing for Birth. You can teach in any geographic location or virtually, and you can change locations anytime. You can teach in any language. And also the place where you teach does not have to jump through any hoops or share royalties or make any purchases with Dancing for Birth. So their only requirement is that they're only hiring certified Dancing for Birth instructors. Included with your training registration is the Dancing for Birth manual, which is digital, the training portal with pre and post-training resources, your certificate of completion, which is also your contact hour certificate, inclusion in our private group, the designation professionally trained and the corresponding seal for your website, permission to use the birth method with your laboring clients, up to 14 contact hours, and eligibility to earn Dancing for Birth affiliate commissions. You also have exclusive access to our private Dancing for Birth Sisters group, which is global. And here's what some birth professionals have to say about Dancing for Birth. One round of the Larson technique, and boom, back labor gone, baby in optimal position. I can honestly say that my Dancing for Birth training was the best education opportunity I've had in the 11 years I've been a midwife. And this is the kind of births that we're seeing. Joyful, confident, flowing, catching your own baby, and just skipping over that whole pushing phase of labor. So that's what we see in Dancing for Birth classes. People are skipping over the whole pushing phase of labor. So 1 minute you're dancing in labor, and the next minute you feel the baby coming and you're ready to go and ready to catch. The world needs us. Together, let's co-create a birth world in which the laboring person freely moves around their space, is never restricted to be on their back in bed, experiences bliss during birth, and catches their own baby with the support and encouragement of their care provider. Here's a recap of how you can elevate your birth and postpartum support. With Dancing for Birth Pro training, you can expect fewer inductions, less labor pain, fewer cesareans, better birth satisfaction, shorter labors, more natural births, an improved VBAC success rate, less postpartum depression, and better APGAR scores. Plus, as a certified Dancing for Birth instructor, you can lead Dancing for Birth class for pregnant and new parents, improve your clients' fitness and wellness, build their confidence and reduce fear over time, teach childbirth and newborn education, honor and celebrate rites of passage, provide a transformative support circle, create ongoing bonds with and among your clients. And your Dancing for Birth class participants will want to become your clients in your other offerings. Here's a recap of your path. Step 1 is to attend level 1, 1 day, or level 1 through 2, 2-day pro training. You'll be able to utilize the birth method. And then with level 1 and level 2, you're eligible to also go on to apply for certification, which is a self-guided process you can complete immediately after the training. So who's excited? Go ahead, drop a yes in the chat, and I will be over to the chat momentarily. I also wanted to mention that we have a Dancing for Birth Pro Training and Eco Retreat happening in 2027 in Bali, Indonesia. So it is exclusively for birth professionals. You'll get deep rest and relaxation, massage, sightseeing, cultural experiences, and it is an epic, life-changing experience. So you can plan ahead for that now. And if you want more information on that, please join us at our free live informational webinar, which is coming up later this month. I'm curious, what is your number one takeaway from today? Go ahead and you can put that in the chat. And I am going to open it up for your questions and comments. Okay, so I see lots of yeses. Thank you. I'm glad that you are as excited as I am. Shoshana says, love this space. Yulia says, birth can be super fun. Freedom of movement in birth and postpartum. Jolene says, movement is so important. I couldn't agree more. Amanda says, just thinking about dancing in birth fills me with joy. I love that. Okay, and we have a question from Brittany. How do hospitals get informed about dancing for birth? I can see our hospitals not being into this. All right, so if anyone out there has a suggestion for that, please go ahead and you can put it in the comments. And so it is a little bit of a learning curve for hospital professionals to embrace movement like this. And there's a gap in education for many birth professionals, and they're not necessarily learning about the value of movement. So I think going in there with your clients and helping your clients through movement, when people, nurses, doctors, certified nurse midwives see the value of movement with their own eyes and see how birth flows and progresses and how much comfort and confidence it brings, they become true believers. I remember one young male doctor who was telling my doula client that they needed a cesarean imminently, and that they wanted to prepare for that. And we asked for more time, and we did a certain dancing for birth move called dilation gyration. And the OB stayed in the room and watched this happen. And in fact, within 30 minutes, vaginal natural birth took place. And after that birth, the doctor was doing the move and he slapped his hand right on the floor because it was a move down there on the floor. So he slapped his hand on the floor and said, "I'm a believer." So that really, you can't replace like showing people how this works. And thank you for that question. I'm going to come back to the chat and see what all the comments are. Okay, and Yulia says she finds it helpful to inform the client about their options and potential resistance in the hospital and coaching them how to advocate for themselves. Definitely, these are conversations that your client should be having when they're choosing their care team, when they're choosing their birthplace, so they can find a birth team and a place that is really aligned with how they want to give birth. Brittany's asking, is this a global training and certification? Yes, it is. So our trainings are virtual. There's also in-person options. And yes, we have certified instructors on 6 continents. Okay, Yulia, your hand is up. Could you go ahead and unmute? I would love to hear your question.
Thank you, Stephanie. This was super, super fun. I have a lot of questions, but I'm going to ask 2. One is about the certification. You said it's a self-guided process. Can you elaborate what it entails?
Yes, and I can also direct you to where you can find that whole process on the Dancing for Birth website, which is dancingforbirth.com. There's a tab for birth professionals, and you can find the certification process there. So essentially, you will answer review questions and score a certain percentage on those questions. And you can take that review quiz as often as you need to accomplish that. You'll write a professional statement, and you'll get a professional reference, and you'll sign a conduct and ethics agreement. And there's the fee. We talked about the one-time fee. And you have a 3-month window to complete all of this, but people really go at their own pace. So we've had people complete it within 1 day of the training, a week of the training, a month of the training. It's really how motivated you are to go through the steps.
Yeah, sounds great. Can I ask one more?
Yes, please.
I personally love all the, moving and dancing, but I also realize that, working with clients, not everybody has that amount of energy. What would you recommend with that? Like a lot of us doulas recommend clients rest in early labor rather than move. So how does that, I can't imagine. One of the ladies shared she had her baby in like 7 hours. I can't imagine she danced the entire time. So can you give a visual for what the process is like if you do choose to dance?
Yes. So the Dancing for Birth childbirth method isn't saying dance the whole time and never take a break. Really, it's body led. We're learning over the course of the classes how to tune in to what your body is telling you and what your instincts are telling you so that you can be really sensitive to that. And in early labor, I always recommend that people do their normal activities they would do at that time of day or night, including sleep if it's nighttime. And so when we're moving, we don't have to necessarily be high energy on our feet either. We can be in supported positions. We can be on the ball. We can use that bed as a jungle gym for support. And there's even ways that if someone chooses to have an epidural, that with their consent, we can help move their bodies. So there's lots and lots of ways to utilize this in a very body-led way.
Awesome. Thank you so much
for those questions. Okay, I just have a short amount of time for, we can maybe take one or two more questions and then we will go back. I want to remind everyone that I do have a gift for you before you leave the webinar. Okay, so Shoshana.
Okay, sorry, still tech issues. I'm
Good to
like, where's
see
the
you.
unmute button? You too. I came on here. I'm already a certified dancing for birth instructor, but I just love Stephanie's energy. So I just came to support and to get like refreshed with the energy. I have one of my kids sitting next to me. I want to say about his birth. He happened to come sit next to me, and I said I want to share about his birth. I was induced because I had gestational diabetes, and I was like, oh gosh, that's pitocin and just not fun. He's number 9 out of 10. So anyway, I just want to say, I remember for favorable induction, I have a video. I don't have it with me right now, but I was, he was -2, a little high. I was still 39 weeks and I still had to get him come down. I literally danced, I would say for like 20 minutes. And the doctor's like, well, let's do a Foley and all. I was like, wait, just can you tell me where the baby is? Like, oh, -1. Wasn't he just at -2? I'm like, yeah, well, I was dancing for the last 20 minutes. He's like, are you kidding? It's like, no. And I have a video. I'm like, I told my husband, film me doing this in real time. So I just want to say, even just bringing, and it was so comfortable to dance. And he descended, and the induction went very quickly, very, very favorably. And we all know, as much as dilation is a thing, honestly, where the baby is can tell us a lot more. So dancing down the babies, it was great. I did all kinds of, hip moves and salsa and all kinds of fun stuff. And it just like everyone would come into the room and say, "Ooh, there's a party in room 3. Like, let's check that out." So it also leads to like this positive, happy, welcoming life environment, which was great. So I just wanted to share that. And I really personally encourage everyone to do this, bring this wherever you are, because it's so, it can go anywhere. It's really, really great. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Shoshana. It's so good to see you again. And I see there's a comment from Nancy Travis saying, the nurses love dancing with patients. We even have a joint commission survey, and we told the surveyor, here we dance. By the time the surveyor was finished, we got the surveyor to dance with the nurses. I love that. Okay, thank you, everybody. I'm going to bring it back to the share because I have a parting gift for you. If you do have additional questions, if I didn't get to your question, please contact us. You can email, you can text, you can call, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. So just for you, for attending live here today on the webinar and participating, there's a free gift. So everyone is getting the gift of $50 off Dancing for Birth Pro training. That's for new registrations, and it expires Monday at midnight. And additionally, one person who's on the live call right now is going to be randomly selected to additionally receive $100 off Dancing for Birth certification. So do get your code for that $50 off. It is being put into the chat right now. And we are going to spin a wheel to select our recipient of $100 off certification. Okay, so has the wheel been spun, and who is our winner?
I have just spun the wheel, and our winner was Yulia. Congratulations.
Oh, that's exciting, Yulia. Wonderful. So we will be sure to get your contact information from you or get in touch with us so we can give you that prize. Okay, and everybody has received $50 off the pro training. You can use that by registering by Monday at midnight Central Time. And with that $50 off, level 1 is just $449. And the combined level 1 through 2 training, which already is saving you $299. With the additional $50, it's only $649. We also have a fast action bonus. So if you know for sure that you are going to sign up for the training, register within the next 30 minutes and you will get this instant access masterclass for free. It's more than just dilation, the 4 types of contractions with midwife Gabrielle Brennan. And this is an excellent masterclass that you will definitely enjoy. So your next step is to view our training schedule. You'll see different dates there, so just choose the one that works for you and get your spot saved because they do sell out pretty rapidly. So I'll pause a minute so you can scan the QR code, or you can just go to the link that is in the chat right now. Thank you, everybody, so much for being here. I'm so excited for you to be part of our literal global uprising for better birth outcomes. All right, I'm going to say goodbye. If you would like to unmute and say goodbye, you may do so. And thank you. I hope to see you again in the near future.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. See you in training.
Thank you, everybody. See you soon.
Bye. Enjoy your day.
Bye-bye. Thanks.